Hello friends, and welcome to another new Happy Learning video. Today we will learn all about the water cycle. Earth, which is the planet we live on, is known as the blue planet because as much as 3/4 of the planet's surface is water. And water is so very important because without it there would be no life. Without it, these sweet little otters wouldn't exist, or these playful bears, nor this conceited bird, or even us, the human beings. That is why we must look after it, conserve our water well, and most of all, we must maintain our rivers and oceans clean. Did you know water never stands still, but is in always constant movement? This water movement is what we call water cycle. Now, let's learn more about it. When the sun warms the water on Earth's surface, it evaporates, converting itself into water vapor, and it begins its incredible journey, flying into the sky up towards the atmosphere. This first stage of its journey is known as evaporation. When the water converts in vapor, it rises towards the atmosphere, then cools down, transforming itself into cloud. This second stage of its journey is called condensation. Once the water has condensated and turned into a cloud, it continues its amazing journey by being blown by the wind, traveling from one place to another. Clouds are actually tiny little drops of water suspended in the air. But when the clouds grow, they collect more and more water. These water drops then crash into each other and become bigger drops of water. Then, at some point, they will end up falling to the ground in the form of rain or even snow. This stage of the water cycle is called precipitation. The water which falls to the ground, which precipitates in the form of either rain or snow, may land in rivers or even on the ground to then seep through to subterranean currents of water. All this water must continue its long journey, covering vast amount of distances until it finally reaches the sea. When it arrives at the big blue sea, it will once again begin the process: evaporation, condensation, precipitation. That is why it's called the water cycle, because it forms a never-ending circle. Isn't the water just so incredible?
Great! You've completed the video. Now continue the route with the reading card, the video game, and the activity.
Hey friends, I'm the Earth. Yes, the planet where you live. And today, I've woken up especially sad. Do you know why? Because I dreamt that water pollution increased so much and that all living beings that live in the oceans, seas, and rivers disappeared. And even though it was only a dream, I can assure you that if you don't stop contaminating water, very soon, this dream will become a reality. The pollution of the water really worries me, and even more so if we take into account that 3/4 of my surface are covered by it. Although I call myself the Earth, if you saw me from space, you would see I am more like water. In fact, I am known as the blue planet. Everyone knows that water is indispensable for life. Without water, neither plants or animals would exist. And neither would you, the human beings. However, many people continue to throw rubbish, bottles, and furniture into seas and rivers, as if they were containers used to get rid of anything you don't want. In many homes, liquids like oil and dirty products are thrown down the drain that mix with water, and this extremely contaminated water travels through pipes to rivers and seas. Also, there are many companies that pour chemical products down drains that cause lots and lots of pollution and kill many aquatic animals. Here, you can see this seal eating a plastic bag thinking it's food. We don't know if the poor thing will survive. Or this dead frog killed by pollution. Another great enemy that covers my surface is oil. You can't imagine the damage it has done to the seas and oceans. The sinking of ships that transport oil have provoked great catastrophes. Only time is capable of fixing. But with this, I don't want to make you feel sad. Because as bad or as complicated as things appear, there is always a solution. Furthermore, I am sure that if you help me, working together as a team, we will make sure the water becomes clean once again, and that the living beings that live in it are safe. A way in which you can help is by collecting your waste when you go on a trip and never ever throw it into the sea or a river. Another way is not to throw oil or other liquids like paint down the drain. Also, we can encourage our relatives and friends to improve their habits and start to think more about the importance of ending water pollution. Caring for water is caring for life. Therefore, you have a great responsibility. I need the help of every one of you in order to be healthy. If you look after the water, you look after nature and all human beings. I am convinced that together we are going to make sure that my sad dream does not become a reality.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
The hydrosphere is the total of all the water on our planet, and there's a whole lot of it, because approximately 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered with water. We don't call the Earth the blue planet for no reason. Check it out from the universe. Isn't it beautiful? Water is everywhere and can be found in 3 states. In a liquid state, like in the seas, lakes, rivers, and underground rivers. In a solid state, in the form of snow or ice, like at the peaks of these mountains, and in a gaseous state, like in the clouds, which soar all over the world and which, when highly concentrated, give us the wonderful rain that waters and gives life to all of nature. All of this water forms the hydrosphere, a super important layer of the Earth. Quick fact, did you know that all living beings are made up of water? Yes, it's incredible! 60% of our body is made up of water. More than half our body is water. Ha! We could almost say that we are also part of the hydrosphere. But do you know how water came to Earth? It all started 4 billion years ago, when our planet was a huge super hot ball, and a bunch of comets and asteroids loaded with ice crashed into it. As it was very hot, the ice from these comets and asteroids evaporated quickly, forming the first clouds. And these clouds travelled all over the planet, dropping water in the form of rain. And so, little by little, the Earth cooled down and was filled with water. Part of this water accumulated in different parts of the Earth and dissolved the mineral salts of the surface, forming the primitive seas. And it was there, in those seas, where life, wonderful life, arose. We all know that there is fresh and salty water, but did you know that 97% of the hydrosphere is composed of salt water? Yes, only 3% of the water that exists can be drunk. Only 3% of all water accounts for fresh water. There is something very important and super interesting that you should know. The water on our planet is always the same. The water we drink or bathe in is the same water brought by those comets and asteroids. It is the same water that the dinosaurs drank. Isn't that just incredible? Water changes state and is always traveling in the super famous and endless journey that we call the water cycle. But remember, the amount of water never, ever changes. And what does this mean then? Well, it means that we have to take care of it. Because of pollution, the water of the seas and rivers is getting dirtier and dirtier. And many living beings are dying because of it. That is why, from Happy Learning, that we insist so much on the need to take care of water. Without it, life would be impossible. If we learn to appreciate it and take care of it, we will always be able to enjoy it, and our hydrosphere and all the living beings in the world will be very grateful.
There are many different types of rivers. Long rivers like this one, which is called the Amazon and is in South America. Very wide rivers like this one, which is in the Congo, in Africa. And is also where the family of hippos live. And there are also small and thin rivers like this one, which is close to my grandparents' house. But all of them, absolutely all of them, are very important for our planet. Rivers are natural freshwater streams in continuous movement. Their waters are always flowing. That's why we say they are natural streams. Surely you have seen many rivers, but have you ever wondered where they are born? Well, rivers are born up there in the mountains. They are formed when water accumulates from rain, from ice, or from snow that melts in summer. This water then falls down the mountainside and flows into the sea, into another river, or into a lake. By the way, the river that flows into another river is also called a tributary. The land through which the water of a river flows is called a riverbed, and the amount of water it carries is its flow. If you are told that a river is very abundant, it means it carries lots and lots of water. The path that the river takes from its source to its mouth is the course of the river. For example, this is the course of the Amazon River, which originates in the mountains of Peru and flows into the Atlantic Ocean. Look! It is the longest river in the world, about 7,000 kilometers long. But the course of the rivers is not always the same. We can distinguish three parts: the upper course, the middle course, and the lower course. Well, the names are really quite obvious, aren't they? The upper course runs from its source, high in the mountains, to the plain. As the terrain is sloping, the water flows down very fast and with a lot of force, dragging everything in its path: stones, sand, branches, and this kayak that is shooting down at full speed. The middle course of the river runs calmly through the plain. Here the river becomes wider and slower, and the material it carries becomes mixed together and are called sediments. There it goes! These funny bends are called meanders, and they are formed by the accumulation of sediments. Does it look like a racetrack? The lower course of the river is the final part of its journey. It is near the mouth of the river. Here, the river deposits the sediments it has been carrying as its water slowly mixes with the sea. Rivers are very important. They are there for us to drink. Almost every city is near a river. They are also used to irrigate crops, for fishing, as a means of transport, and also for energy. But above all, they are home to a great many living things, like these funny and playful otters. Oh wow, what a roll! And that's why it's so important to keep them clean. If we commit ourselves to take care of them, to not to pollute them, they, the rivers, will continue to give us life, fresh water, and a lot of fun.
Great! You've completed the video. Now continue the route with the reading card, the video game, and the activity.
As you can see, the shapes of the Earth's surface are not always the same. Sometimes the terrain we see is super flat. Other times it is more undulated with hills and mountains, and others are surrounded by seas like this island. Well, that is the relief, the different shapes that the surface of the Earth has, including the bottom of the sea. As the Earth is very, very large, to study the relief, we have divided it in two types: inland relief and coastal relief. The differences between one and the other is pretty obvious, don't you think? The inland relief is, as its name suggests, the one that is in the interior and has three forms of relief. The mountains, which are great elevations of land. Valleys, which is the land located between the mountains, like the ones where these cows live. And the plains, that are, as its name suggests, great extensions of very flat land. Plains are rather plain. It's a trick to remember. The coastal relief is the one that is next to the sea. That is to say, on the coast. In it, we can find beautiful beaches where we can see these rowdy seagulls. We can also see high cliffs, a group of islands full of palm trees known as archipelagos, and many other forms of reliefs. Now, let's review. Relief is the different shapes of the Earth's surface, including the seabed. We can divide it into two types of relief: inland relief such as mountains, and coastal relief such as beaches. But before we say goodbye, on behalf of Happy Learning, we want to tell you that you have to take care and protect nature. We have already seen how beautiful the mountains, valleys, beaches, and all forms of reliefs are. But sadly, many times we find them full of garbage and dirt. So please recycle everything you can. Do not throw plastic or any kind of waste on the ground and pollute as little as possible. Nature and all living beings on Earth will thank you for it. Goodbye, friends! Until the next video!
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.